Hello, this is Susan Apollonio, Education Programs Director for ASLA. Welcome to the 2016 Annual Meeting and Expo Speaker Orientation Webinar. On behalf of ASLA, I'd like to thank you for all that you have done and will continue to do to support the Annual Meeting Education Program. This webinar should run only about 20 minutes, so we appreciate your making some time. The purpose of this webinar is to walk you through the next few months of the planning process for the annual meeting as it relates to you, our speakers. If you have questions that are not covered here, please reach out at any time by emailing us at speaker@asla.org. Before we get started, I'd like to introduce you to the ASLA staff who work throughout the year to plan the annual meeting. Emily O'Connor, who many of you already know, is the Education Programs Manager, and together we develop and organize all of the annual meeting education content and speakers. And Joyce DePass is our Director of Meetings. Joyce is responsible for all of the logistics surrounding the annual meeting and all of ASLA's other meetings. And for those of you who are leading field sessions, you'll be working closely with Kelly Bland, our Manager of Meetings, on logistics planning. Together, the meetings team ensures that the annual meeting offers attendees the best possible content and runs as smoothly as possible. Of course, we could not do this without the ASLA Annual Meeting Education Advisory Committee and the New Orleans host chapter representatives. On behalf of ASLA, I want to thank them for their dedication and vision, which guides the entire development process of the education program. The AMEAC and the host chapter volunteers dedicate a tremendous amount of behind-the-scenes time to creating an outstanding meeting, and ASLA staff is extremely grateful to them. Year after year, our annual meeting surveys tell us that the #1 reason people attend the annual meeting is for the education session topics and speakers. The majority of attendees participate in 7 to 12 education sessions over the course of the 4-day meeting, so there's much to prepare for and be excited about. More than 130 education sessions, field sessions, and workshops and general sessions will be offered during the New Orleans meeting. Attendees can take full advantage of all of these wonderful offerings. As you continue to fine-tune your presentations, please keep in mind that all programming is geared towards an intermediate to an advanced learning level. Also, please remember that the session that was submitted to the call for presentations and that has been published in the registration brochure is the session attendees are coming to see. Please follow your original outline and learning outcomes. 37 states require continuing education or professional development hours for landscape architects to remain licensed. Full registration offers attendees the opportunity to earn up to 21 LACES Professional Development Credits, or PDH. ASLA recognizes that many of our speakers and attendees work across disciplines, so in an effort to meet varied professional development needs and to engage allied professions, the annual meeting education program is also pre-approved by the credentialing systems you see on your screen. Submissions are in process now, and the annual meeting website will be updated as PDH approvals are received. We'll be talking a little bit more about this when we discuss presentations for your sessions. I'm now going to turn you over to Emily O'Connor, who will walk us through the Presenter Center.
Thank you, Susan. All of the information that we will cover today can be found on the Presenter Center. Most of you have already completed the first few steps we will review, so I'll move through this information quickly. You can log into the Speaker Management area by going to www.aslameeting2016.com and then selecting Education, as you'll see on this screen. The next page that opens contains all of the information on the annual meeting education sessions. Click on For Speakers on the menu at the left side of the screen. Log into the Presenter Center using your email address and access key. If you forgot your login credentials, simply click on Lost Your Access Key below the Login button. At the top of the page, you can select View, Edit, Full Profile to update your contact information. Please note that changing your contact information here does not update your ASLA membership profile. Below that is the task list. To update your biography and headshot, select those items from the task list. Below the task list, your presentation information is listed. Below that is the timeline of key dates and deadlines for our planning process, as well as helpful resources. For our field session leaders, there are additional planning documents located in your Presenter Center, and you'll receive additional communication from the meetings team as planning milestones approach. Next, I'll review registration and housing with everyone. All speakers receive a full complimentary registration to the meeting, which are processed on your behalf. The registration confirmation that was emailed to you following the completion of your registration included instructions for booking housing. Registration confirmations are sent from Experian. Please be sure to follow those instructions so that you do not create a duplicate record for yourself. If you need your registration confirmation resent, please email us at speaker@asla.org. The housing policy is posted in the Presenter Center. For our returning speakers, the housing policy and housing reimbursements will be the same this year as they were for last year's meeting. In order to be eligible for reimbursement of one night's hotel stay, speakers are required to stay at one of the 11 ASLA official hotels, which are listed on the annual meeting website. The Hilton New Orleans Riverside is the headquarters hotel. Your meeting registration confirmation email contains step-by-step instructions for booking your hotel room. ASLA will verify your housing reservation through our official registration provider, Experian. ASLA will automatically process a reimbursement for $278 to cover the cost of one night's hotel stay. So please be sure to reserve your hotel room through Experian using the housing instructions provided in your meeting registration confirmation email. Next up on our agenda are the education classroom setups, and Joyce DePass will take us through that section of the presentation. Joyce?
Thanks, Emily. Most presentation rooms will be set theater style. The standard stage set includes a living room format with comfortable armchairs and small tables. A lectern will also be on stage. We ask presenters to adapt to this standard set to streamline the process and contain costs. Special requests that deviate from this setup will be considered on a case-by-case basis. If your presentation requires a special setup, you'll need to contact me as soon as possible. The official deadline for special requests is July 1st. When submitting your requests, please include the session number, session title, and date and time of your session in your request. If you have any special room setup or AV needs, we'll review each request on a case-by-case basis. An example of a special room setup might include a Mac laptop. If you're using a Mac, be sure to let us know and bring a Mac VGA adapter cable to connect your computer to the projector. Video or sound use. If your slideshow includes music, sound clips, or video, please let me know so that we can request the required additional equipment to your room setup. Flip charts. If you need a flip chart, let me know, and please limit it to one per session room. Please also take note that internet is not supplied in our session rooms unless it is a session programmed for second screen technology. Laptops. This is important. One of the presenters on your panel is required to bring his or her laptop to New Orleans. We strongly encourage that before the meeting, all of the presentations for your session be put on a thumb drive, loaded and tested on that laptop before the meeting. That is your best case scenario. If you're unable to do that, come together on site and test your presentation in the speaker ready room before your session begins to ensure your presentations are working properly. If your laptop is malfunctioning and you need to borrow a laptop, ASLA will have a limited number available on a first-come, first-served basis in the speaker ready room. Laser pointers will also be made available upon request on site in the speaker ready room. Now, there are two education session rooms that will be reserved for alternate room sets or rooms that have deviated from the traditional theater-style audience theater seating to better engage the audience with you, our presenters. Traditional theater seating has been removed in favor of a theater in the round or a charrette-style audience setup. Alternate room sets received strong feedback last year, so we're beginning to phase them in to more of our sessions. Now, many of you have already requested an alternate room set, so you'll be notified in advance if your session has been placed in a session room with alternate seating. So with that, I turn it back over to Susan.
Thank you, Joyce. With our audience in mind, I'd like to introduce you to FXP Touch and Second Screen, which we are making available for select sessions again this year. Last year was the first time we used Second Screen, and it was a tremendous success. And of the 888 meeting attendees who attended this 7 conference sessions which used the technology, nearly 65% logged in to use FXP Touch, and 48% of those who used it voted on at least one question that the speakers posed. When asked to use their devices to evaluate the sessions, respondents had an overall average approval rate of 93.5% out of a possible 100. And when asked if they would recommend the session to colleagues on a scale of 0 to 10, the average response was 8.7. And when asked if information could be used in their jobs, the average response was 8.3. As these numbers suggest, FXP enhanced the level of engagement between speakers and audience members. So what is FXP Touch? Second Screen is a session presentation enhancement and audience engagement tool. It allows speakers to poll audiences, measure audience engagement, and field questions from attendees. Attendees can use Second Screen from their personal device or laptop. Earlier this week, we sent out a brief demo video, and it is also posted in your presenter center. So please take a look, and if you think you'd like to try it out, let us know by July 1st. For those of you that are interested, we will set up a time to dig deeper into how to add FXP to your presentation. But we need to know well in advance if you and your co-presenters want to incorporate Second Screen technology into your sessions. Given that there is much to do and prepare for the annual meeting, we suggest that you assign key roles for your presentation development if you have not done so already. The lead presenter helps the session team keep in touch and ensure that deadlines are met. And we ask the lead presenter do the following. Act as the main point of contact for your entire team, responsible for all communications to other panelists. Organize the team, define the scope of your presentation, and assign responsibilities to each of the presenters. Talk to every speaker by phone or in person weeks, if not months, before the annual meeting. Make sure they understand the format and know their individual roles. Please also assign a team member to develop the required session guide that will be posted on the website prior to the meeting. Please encourage all the speakers to send you their presentation at least 2 weeks before the event so you can review it as a group, make suggestions, and combine it into one uniformed presentation. Please assign one person on your team to compile one master PowerPoint. There is a guide to formatting your PowerPoint for the session rooms screens posted in the Presenter Center. Also assign a team member to bring a laptop computer with a slideshow loaded on it and bring your presentation on a thumb drive or other form of backup. Please note that laptops are not provided by ASLA. And again, if you plan on using a Mac computer, please contact Joyce DePass and let her know, and bring a Mac VGA adapter cable to connect your laptop to the projector in your session room. Session guides are one of the most important components of your education session. They are intended to reduce the amount of note-taking required by attendees. Attendees refer to them in advance, during, and for years after the meeting concludes. The session guide page is one of the most frequently visited sections of the ASLA website with an average of 40,000 page views per year. They will be made available through the meeting mobile app. Session guides should document the scope and content of your session presentation, reflect the marketing statement used to promote your session, and guide attendees through your talk. They should also please include learning objectives. Guides are required for each session. They are due by Tuesday, September 20th. A session handout FAQs can be found in your Presenter Center and will aid you in preparing this important document. ASLA records a selection of education sessions for the annual meeting program. Each year, we will notify speakers on a case-by-case basis if their session is selected for recording. We will ask you to prepare a session quiz and submit it along with a session guide on September 20th. If you plan to organize your presentation around a single slideshow, please download and use the ASLA 2016 PowerPoint template from the Presenter Center. The template provides an element of graphic uniformity to the continuing education program and helps attendees orient to your topic and learning objectives. Please remember to include the learning objectives at the beginning and the end of your presentation. As I mentioned, we have posted a reference guide to formatting PowerPoint presentations to the session room screens in the Presenter Center. There are detailed instructions provided in the notes pane on the PowerPoint template. If you are not using PowerPoint, please download the annual meeting logo and make use of it in your presentation, along with any other mandatory slides noted in the PowerPoint template. Preparing your PowerPoint will help you prepare for your session guide, so we hope you will use it. Our Bookstore vendor has asked us to compile a list of books that our faculty, field session leaders, and education program participants recommend to carry in the bookstore at the meeting. Please note that our third-party vendor will make every effort to obtain the book suggested, but they have the final say in what inventory they will order for the meeting, and in some cases, it may not be possible to carry certain titles. Please submit Bookstore recommendations through the Presenter Center. Please include the information on your screen now when you're making your suggestions. Thank you. So now that we have covered many of the logistical components of the planning process and touched on the key deadlines for those components, I'd like to take a moment to share tested advice on how best to prepare for a successful presentation, because we want to make sure that when you look out into the audience, you see this and not this. These tips come from the TEDx, and we have posted links to additional resources from TEDx about public speaking in your Presenter Center should you wish to take a look. So timing is key. Each session is 90 minutes. In order to qualify for professional development hours, the presentation must consist of 50 to 60 minutes, followed by 30 minutes of Q&A. Just remember to dream big. Strive to do something the audience will remember forever. Reveal something never seen before. Share an idea that could change the world. Show us the real you. Share successes as well as failures. Keep us engaged. Make us laugh, make us cry, and above all, talk into the mic so everyone in the room can hear you. And try not to talk from a script. Make the complex plain. Don't try to dazzle intellectually. Don't speak in abstractions. Explain, give examples, and tell stories. Don't flaunt your ego. Don't boast. It's the surest way to turn everyone in the room off. No selling from the stage, please. Please do not pitch your products or services or ask for funding from the stage or any time before, during, or after your presentation. Connect with your audience. Talk with attendees, not at them. Remember that the audience is not made up only of private practitioners. Please try and address all landscape architect practice areas. Rehearse your talk in front of a trusted friend for timing, for clarity, for impact. Stop by the speaker ready room and test out the stage set. Meet with your co-presenters or just enjoy some quiet time. Try not to read your talk. Notes are fine, and if the choice comes down between reading and rambling, then revert to reading. Encourage audience participation, especially during Q&A. When addressing questions from the floor, insist that attendees use the microphone provided or repeat the question so that the entire audience hears the question before you answer it, or try using the second screen to interact with the audience. End your talk on time. Doing otherwise is to steal time from the other people that follow you. Please take side conversations off the stage at the conclusion of your session so the next session in the room can begin on time. All right, so what to expect on site. By the time you arrive in New Orleans, your session guide will have already been posted and made available to attendees, and hopefully your session PowerPoint will be complete. However, we know there are always last-minute edits to any presentation, so we invite you to meet us in the speaker ready room to make any last-minute changes. The speaker ready room is equipped with an LCD projector and meeting tables for you to practice your presentation with your panel. It is available on a first-come, first-served basis. Please plan to arrive at your session room 20 minutes prior to your session scheduled start time so that the AV technicians can fit you with your microphone. You can connect your laptop and meet your session host. Session host will read a few housekeeping items, remind attendees about PDH tracking, and then introduce your panel, at which point you'll be all set to begin your presentation. Here's a recap on your screen of the key dates and deadlines that we will need materials from you before the meeting gets started later this fall. We certainly hope that we've addressed most of your questions. However, please feel free to contact us at any time. We are always here to help. Thank you again for your time and efforts, and we look forward to seeing you in New Orleans this fall. Thank you.